You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keetin. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Saturday Night Live After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's SNL After Show.
Bing is for doing, and we're doing another AfterBuzz After Show for Saturday Night Live. For the March 9th episode, host and musical guest Justin Timberlake.
JT.
I'm not familiar, but he is a delight, I hear.
He's fresh on the scene. He's a new one.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Matthew Kyle. We have a full crowd today. My goodness. We have the lovely Keetin across the way.
Hi, guys.
Keetin, Michael Key. Great to see you.
That's right. Filup Molina.
Filup Molina. Hello.
And new to our table with us, the wonderful and beautiful Shelley Long.
Shelley.
That's right.
Cool.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We're doing all right?
Yeah, besides the time change.
Besides the time change. Yeah, and speaking of time changes, we changed our schedule and did not have a show last week for Kevin Hart.
There was a show last week?
Some people are still debating that.
Yeah.
But apparently it was on for an hour and a half, and you can be the judge.
You know, last week had a interesting bit of trivia. Did you guys hear a slightly different narrator voice in there?
Yes, which also continued this week as well.
Yeah. So anyone remember our famous announcer voice?
Don Pardo.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live.
Ooh, harmony there, gang.
That was beautiful.
That was nice.
So Daryl Hammond actually has been voicing.
Is that right?
Which is kind of the thing that they used to say when Don Pardo I think is 1,000. I think
He
it's
is
1,000 years old. So they were like, well, in the next 1,000 years when he's out of here, who's gonna do it? And Daryl Hammond from years ago, they're like, well, he can do a pretty good Don Pardo, and now they actually are using it. I think he's ill or he's recovering from surgery or something.
Wasn't there a period of time, early 2000s, when Daryl Hammond took over for Don Pardo?
He like temporarily left and then came back. Right, he retired officially and now only does SNL, and he does it partially. He flies to New York for the shows. Other times he just does it from home.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's
Must
super
be
cool.
nice.
Yeah, but especially he's working in his mid-80s. I think he is.
I know.
85.
I think I'm not kidding. I think it's in his 90s.
Is it his 90s now?
I feel like
I
it
think
might
you
be.
might be right. I think there was a 90th birthday cake. I'm forgetting. But so yeah, last week we had the March 2nd episode, which was Kevin Hart and then Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, which I think they were probably the best part of the show, right?
Yes.
Everybody really dug Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. If you haven't heard of them or seen them yet, if you didn't know they were white, and there they were.
Yeah. Well, they're not both white, right?
They're both white.
They're both white?
Yeah.
What? I thought it was the same white. All white guys look alike to me. I'm sorry.
Oh man, it's true.
There was a Daft Punk commercial. If anyone is into Daft Punk, there's a new Daft Punk album coming out, and the only glimpse anyone's seen of it has been during that SNL episode. So go back and before you purge it from your DVR, just check out the commercials.
It's been purged.
Okay, so wow, it's now the Super Bowl for girls now. We're watching the commercials in between the show. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Super Bowl for girls? Why
Yeah.
is SNL for girls?
Because you're talking about watching
why
the
is it the
commercials and
Super
not the
Bowl?
game.
Why is the Super Bowl not
Because
for girls?
usually, traditionally, why am I having
is
to
it
be
happening
so
for men?
defensive?
Wow.
Shelley Long, back me up. Shelley Long, back me up.
When you're insulting women, you can't ask Shelley Long to back you up.
All right. Well,
Or
parting
Shelley
thoughts
Long.
from the Kevin Hart episode, Shelley? Anything?
Oh, man.
It.
Okay. Well, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, it was.
It was not.
It mostly the only thing I enjoyed probably was when the Z-shirt came back. I
the
love when
funeral.
SNL plays with form a little bit, and they did a callback to a sketch they had done earlier in the night. I think that's fun for them to do. Otherwise, I wasn't really happy with it. And I hate to say it, when you have a black, usually stand-up host, but a black host, count on at least one sketch having the line, that's racist. And I think, honestly, at this point, that's racist. to always have that.
Fair point,
Yeah.
Keetin.
I thought the only real sketch that I actually enjoyed was the very first one, the opening sketch with Jay Pharoah as President Barack Obama doing his budget speech. And I mean, I just love Jay Pharoah. I think his impressions are great. And as we've discussed before, that's kind of what you guys, the only good thing you think he can do. But I thought it was great that they included the whole cast kind of in the opening thing, and you got to see everybody. And I just like when they all do like big community sketches. So that was that. Yeah, that was when I was kind of done with it after that.
I would have to concur. I do like the Mickey Mouse Club opening when they get everybody out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think that kind of fell off after the Obama, and there's some reoccurring. You know, when you have the two distraught employees, they did the McDonald's before,
Very
now they're the
mean.
Barnes and
Hard-
Noble. It's a hard bit to swallow, and then
Hard to laugh at when it's like
Totally.
these people exist in this world.
And I was most disappointed by his monologue. I mean, he's a stand-up comedian, and I thought it was very poor. You know.
You know, honestly, not to come off that and say the homeless bit, but the person without a home, who the idea of him,
Nice save.
yeah, is that the way? Anyway, putting his palm on the sandwich or whatever. It's like, this is kind of a funny story, and then I realized, and sure enough, people were offended by it. It's very difficult to talk about the unroofed without getting in trouble. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's all I'll say about them. Yeah.
I hear you on that. But yeah, I thought the Obama was strong. I thought that was Jay Pharoah's best Obama as of yet. So
Because the least amount to do.
right,
just-
but he hit all of his jokes, Philip. He hit all of his jokes, and that's all.
2 or 3, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what
You hate
3
on
for
Jay
3.
Pharoah.
3 for 3. Let's talk about somebody we can't hate on because he's so wonderful. I could be talking about me, but in this instance, I'm talking about Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh man.
Ooh,
This little piece of heaven.
5-timer now.
5 times.
Do you guys remember when he first hosted, where
do.
each of us were?
2007.
Was that the inception of Dick in the Box? Was that when?
I thought it was. I
Yeah.
believe it was. That's just off the top, but I would bet dollars to donuts.
What,
The song is great.
if anyone can
well.
make that happen, call Keetin. This idea, it's in a box.
So he's getting
great idea.
rave reviews. I mean, there was a lot of buzz before on the internet about him.
Which
and
he
there was
called
a lot
out, right?
Which he called out, which I thought was great. And then we had all this pressure, but do you feel like he delivered?
At least as well as he did on the Mickey Mouse Club, right? Like, this is, I mean, the guy
then
is
that's gangbusters.
Yeah, the guy is made for this. He said very recently that he wishes he could be on SNL. He feels like that's a thing that he wants to tackle still, is just being a comedian, essentially. He's got great delivery. Because he's such a good dancer, he has a lot of physical control over his body, and that's something that we've talked about. A certain cast member isn't able to stay still for a moment, and when that certain cast member's Obama impression it starts to slide around, and he's not Fred Armisen, the jokes don't land, and so he knows how to make a joke land by also punctuating it physically, a little bit of a neck jerk. I like him.
Can we talk about? I mean, before we get into kind of his monologue and stuff, his Elton John impression.
Okay, the cold open, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
The
that
Elton
was
John for
great.
Hugo Chavez.
It was good, yeah. So The Onion had a great headline about the Hugo Chavez death. Said it was something like, area man not sure whether he should be happy or sad that Hugo Chavez died. And I was like, that's probably most Americans
Yeah.
right now are just like, oh, wow, shocking. But
Yeah.
they don't know if it's a bad thing. So it was nice to also educate the audience a little bit on just
I
like,
think
here's
I
things he did.
dislike him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
TV.
Or Elton John, thank you. I mean, I didn't know anything about Hugo Chavez, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, if all these are true, then
And the deeper
I've
Elton,
learned something.
Right, and the Elton John Justin Timberlake connection. Elton John said that if he had a movie done by him, which he's trying to get
Yeah.
done, that he wants Justin Timberlake to play him, and then he had Justin Timberlake star as him in that video that he did probably 8 years ago now.
Yeah, I love the idea
So-
of Elton John writing a movie about his own life, casting Justin Timberlake in it. Suddenly, old Elton comes in and they kiss a lot.
As long as Jonathan Taylor Thomas is, doing
the
his voice
of
from
young,
Lion
yeah,
King. Yeah.
of young Simba. I'm good.
I don't care.
Yeah, I was about to say, where's JTT coming in? Because we're talking about one JT.
We're talking about JT, not JTT. There's two. There's space for both in my
Yeah.
heart. I think you'll agree.
And on your walls.
So, I mean, again, getting rave reviews. This was the 14-month high in ratings since the Charles Barkley episode, January 2012. So the highest rated episode in a long, long time. So people were anticipating it. And
Did he live up to it?
That's what I want to know. That's what I'm venturing out to you. Did he live up to it, Shelley?
I thought it was a really, really solid episode. I don't think it was his best time hosting, but he like pulled out all the stops, so it's hard to even say that it was, you know, didn't live up to anything. Like he made it a really solid 5th time.
Yeah, I mean, with the expectations that he had on him.
Yeah.
So you like it's like going in and already being handicapped and then still delivering a quality episode. It's like, oh, actually, it must be a pretty good episode if it's living up to expectations.
Well, and I felt like what lacked with it for some reason was any of like the characters that he had played before. All those characters that they brought back those sketches were phenomenal. But any of his new characters, I was like, they just fell really short for me, and they were bland and kind of stupid. I don't think he hit the jokes right, and he lost me towards the end of the episode. And then he sang again, and I was like, okay.
You found me.
I'm back.
We've made up now.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you, Keetin. I mean, the first half of the show was very, very strong, and they had a lot of throwback stuff, and that was all great. And then when they did get to weaker material towards the end of the show, it did start to suffer even more.
Which your regular viewers will know. I mean, that's SNL's formula. Get them in while they're not asleep yet, and then when
The
it's
rest of
just when it's just a cat watching a TV that was accidentally left on, let's air the
Cats
Caligula
are mad
sketch.
around the country. It's like,
But
come
yeah,
on.
I would have to say my most enjoyable episode, probably maybe the best episode of the year, just because of how strong the first half was.
I would say the show was the best Saturday Night Live all-around episode maybe of the year. Not the funniest. I would say maybe the
agree.
Seth MacFarlane episode might have been funnier up top. Not Kevin Hart. The week before that had some good stuff. But just all-around variety show entertainment. I mean, Justin Timberlake pretty much just needs a television network where he just does everything at all times, like booming his own shots and everything. Just because, like, you just want to watch this guy sing and dance and be, naked and funny. And what?
Right?
Why? Well, he was not
Keetin,
naked at all.
that is a
I'm really
good
sad.
Filup impression. Yeah, it's just he's designed for the idea of a variety show, and so that's what we like.
And he has so many friends that he brought on the show. And I was like, yes.
I hope they don't hang out because that's not
Do you
fair.
think they hang out?
Well, I mean, we should get into the big bit, which will kind of live on for a long time, I'm sure, which is the Five Timers Club. Which
So
is
what makes you say it would live on for a long time?
just because it's I don't know. I just feel like that has legs. It's obviously not the first time they did it. The first time they did it was in 1990 with Tom Hanks. It's the first time they did the Five Timers Club bit, and Steve Martin was there as always, and they have the other characters coming in. But as this expands, first of all, Drew Barrymore.
I know.
Who knew? You know she was
I
Five
didn't know
Timer?
that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
She started young.
She did host when she was like 9 or something, but
Yeah,
Drew
exactly. She wasn't even
Barrymore,
famous
What is
yet.
she doing that she couldn't have been there?
I don't it's magical. I don't know what Drew Barrymore does anymore. What do you think?
Kyle just dropped his pencil
got all
like an
nervous.
idiot.
She's like, oh, God, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
And you called this pen a pencil like an idiot.
Who needs a rubber
got
grip
you.
on their pen?
Okay,
I
boys.
do.
Okay, boys.
Good Lord.
Five Timers Club, Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin,
More.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
How many Academy Award winners were in the Five Timers Club?
Oh, good piece of trivia. I'll say 2. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
1. Did Candace Bergen ever win something? I don't think so.
Not an Academy Award. She was.
Oh, John Goodman
John
might have won
Goodman.
something.
Yeah, I think John. What about Chevy Chase? No.
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 Nope. Hate Word Club. He's won many awards.
Paul Simon, Steve Martin.
Just
The bigger question is
Aykroyd.
how many of those people did a lot of cocaine? And all of them probably but Tom Hanks.
Well, they all went through the 70s in Hollywood. so-
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So it's a tried and tested format of just bringing a bunch of celebs that are fun. And
Certainly.
they're all. If you've come back to SNL 5 times, you're a pretty decent performer, hopefully, right, Drew Barrymore? So this room is always going to go fairly well. It's not. It was 9 minutes. It dragged. When you have to hold for applause after every
Yeah.
name, it's going to be a a little bit of a dragging sketch. They're also getting old, except for Martin Short. I think he's getting younger.
And shorter.
Yeah, maybe he's getting shorter, but I don't know was Paul Simon standing in a ditch?
He was so tiny.
Because he was literally, I mean, I saw Justin Timberlake. What is he, 5'10"?
Yeah.
And he looked like he was Shaquille O'Neal. I was
Just
like,
Paul
there's something wrong
Simon's
here.
shins are made of chalk, and they just grind down over the years.
I feel
By
like
the goodbyes, he was.
Paul Simon's guitar is now one of those that you get at a thrift shop that's like 8 inches long, you know, but it looks like a full guitar now.
Ridiculous. He also, I think he might have memorized his lines, Paul Simon.
He was
seemed like
so
it.
focused on it.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to see those cue cotton? No.
And he's like, I'm going to say this line in 5 seconds after we do some awkward silence.
Well, it was really, he was going to say those lines either way, and then they wrote a sketch around it.
Right. So we had Paul Simon, Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Tom Hanks, Alec Baldwin, Candace Bergen. That's a lot.
Yeah.
There's 8.
So, Candace Bergen, it's like, it's an honor to be mentioned in this group, basically. Candace Bergen was super famous at one point, and now people confuse her with Corbin Burnson. Like, see, you're not even sure.
She got a nice laugh from the engineer there.
Like seriously.
Corbin Burnson, huh? All right.
She isn't, I don't know, she's just no longer relevant, and it almost took me out of it. I was like, really?
She was in Miss Congeniality, dude, so back off.
Congeniality?
Congeniality.
Oh, okay.
That's where I recognized her from. I was like, I don't know who this lady is.
See?
Oh,
See?
Thank you, Sandra Bullock.
He just needed a little refresher. We like the Candace Bergen. I watched Murphy Brown, but, you know, I'm a man of the 2000s, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, no. So yeah, it was fun, but it was slow, and it was like, I like all of you individually enough that I'm going to go ahead and give this sketch a pass. But if it was anyone else with like a different batch, I mean, it's not particularly funny. It's just a little bit of a who's who and comedy.
Yeah, it definitely didn't have like a lot of jokes, but I'm a sucker for the cameos. Like even just in real life, like somebody like leaves to college and they come back to high school and it's like, oh, they were here before, and I'm like really excited about that, and then like, calm down. But so that gets me every time. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I as well, and that's why I think it's a great bit that they've developed, and I'm glad that they can keep pushing it along. They do the 10-timers club when that's come up, and the 15-timers club, obviously, and obviously the crux of it is Steve Martin because he's hosted more than anybody.
How many times was Steve Martin hosted?
It's 15 or 16.
Was it already there?
Yeah, I thought he was.
I remember
at
it being
15
14, but I mean, not that long ago. Yeah.
So yeah, he's right there, and he's. There's a couple that I think are in the 5-timers club that they didn't mention, which I thought Elliot Gould was, but I don't know.
There's a lot from the
early years
from
when
70s and 80s,
right? When they didn't have the host system hammered down, that it was kind of free and loose.
To be honest, though, if I'm someone who is a 5-timer and I'm like, Candace Bergen is on SNL right
now.
now.
Candace Bergen so much.
One time I saw her at a coffee bean and I said, hey, and she said, not now.
Here we go.
Really?
You see?
Is this a true story?
That totally happened.
We gotta move on.
That totally happened.
Oh, wow.
She probably dropped her pen in a really cool fashion like I did, and you jumped all over her, too.
Yeah. Is that a fad now?
That is a fad.
This is a question I want to ask. Is Justin, because obviously Steve Martin has hosted a ton of times. I don't know. He might have been a musical guest once or twice, because I know he did have a little band at one point.
Sure does, yeah.
Is Justin, has he been the musical guest as well as the host all 5 times he's hosted?
I would say no.
I know at least one of the times.
That is a great little trivia
question. Social
question.
Network, and hosted that time. I don't think he was the musical.
Well, because he didn't have a CD out for a long time.
And he was like not performing.
That's
like,
true.
Like,
Well, let's leave that one up to the audience. Again, always get us on iTunes and comment and review us, whatever you may, because we always appreciate it. And watch us on YouTube and leave us a little comment. Let us know. We appreciate the support. So,
I have a quick question about Justin Timberlake.
Sure.
Is he going to be famous forever? Is he going to be one of those where
I think so.
when he's 60 years old, we're going to be like, when he was young, he was...
I know, it's just going to be like him and Psy, you know?
Yeah, those two that lasted forever.
He's like, I mean, other than Michael Jackson, I can't think of anyone else who's like come from a boy band and then like had legitimacy after, like this level.
Nick Lachey? No, I'm kidding.
No, you're
Nick
right.
Lachey hosted SNL, co-hosted with Jessica Simpson.
Hello.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
This level of legitimacy, you know, and even then, like the Jackson 5, it's not the same type of boy band, so it's kind of, it's not crazy to me that he has legitimacy. It's crazy to me that nobody's questioned it. It's just happened and everybody's like,
That we allowed it.
Yeah, we accept
it's
it.
raw talent.
Yeah.
It's like pulled up by his own bootstraps. I like how it's like as if he's like comes from the ghetto or something. It's just like he comes from the ghetto of Orlando boy bands.
Well, and it's funny that he shows all this credit, and we've all seen him cry to his mom on television when he was punked, like back in the day. So
Oh yeah.
maybe
What
that's
was his
the way to
punk?
keep. He got punked, like his house was all.
He was
the
he was in the
thing.
pilot episode of
That they were
Punked,
gonna-
remember?
What did they do?
Repossess his stuff. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh
Yeah.
right.
Remember?
Yeah.
He was like on the curb, just doing R&B.
Been sitting here, get you off my mind.
It was crazy. He
Right
cried
to the
and
lyrics
sang
and-
the whole thing.
Okay, that says a lot.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah, so we'll meet back here in 60 years and confirm whether or not Justin
Justin still
Timberlake is
famous?
still famous.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan. Cool. Hey, it's a date. That was the next bit on the show.
So, I mean, obviously, an avenue for bringing back Two Wild and Crazy Guys, which honestly I was excited to
Yeah.
see.
That was fun.
That was
I never
awesome.
liked that bit.
Neither did I. I'm excited to see
And it
it.
didn't give me any more reason to like it, but it was just, again, I think I was with Shelley that I was like, I've seen this before. Now it's reappearing. I can't
Cognitive
handle this."
connections.
Exactly. I'm so comfortable and used to this. I don't know what to do.
My dad watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad, where were you? Where you saw Wild?
And maybe those, and actually to speak to that in honesty, I think there are situations like that because I was about to, when I saw it, the first thing I was like, oh, I gotta tell my mom to like watch this bit because, you know, she'll care all of a sudden.
Because she'll be really sad at how much weight he's gained. Their timing wasn't perfect and they weren't great. But honestly, for being kind of rusty, they're still pretty funny guys. And nothing against Dan Aykroyd, but Steve Martin can still land a joke
Yeah.
really well. I saw him, I mean, this is hyper technical. I saw him adjust timing on a little follow-up joke he had where he had a joke and then someone laughed for like a second longer than maybe expected. And I saw him like wait, pause, readjust, and still land his like second part of his joke, which later on in the episode, we actually saw some timing issues with people, especially there was someone in the audience, a big LSU fan, a crocodile or an alligator in the audience that was shouting out the entire time. It hurt some performance. So these people are very seasoned performers, despite being rusty.
And I thought Vanessa Bayer, you know, who played the lovely...
Fantastic.
She was so good.
So good, so solid, so sharp,
like,
you know?
that sounds okay. Like, I don't hate it.
And that's a great thing when you're a secondary character and you get your 3 jokes, but you fill it out.
Yeah.
She nails those characters of just like, and they're played very close to like who she is, like who a real person is. I've always said
Yeah.
that she's actually probably maybe the best actress on the show of just like, she'll play someone who you're like, oh, this is a real person, and then she can just like give you a variation that's very funny without going big like some other cast members when their Obama isn't going so well.
Fred Armisen? Is it
Yeah.
Fred Armisen?
It's never Fred Armisen.
Never Fred Armisen.
Yeah, but you know, she can just make a little bit of a eye tweak, and you realize, oh, it's because her vagina hurts in this commercial sketch.
Which
That
I
was
was,
so
I was,
good.
I was gonna foreshadow is when she did the facial feature of inserting the Nuva bling was amazing.
perfect.
It was just like you felt it.
Like, just
Yeah.
Yeah, that was method right there. That was Daniel Day-Lewis
we all
territory.
been there.
Yeah,
All right.
Oh, God.
but yeah, and then you had the Dick in the Box fellows who were. I'm
Fantastic.
sure. I mean, the ladies love.
Oh, I
Look at
love
you.
it.
Yeah,
Love
LLC.
Andy Samberg. I knew that he was going to come back this episode because I don't think Justin Timberlake would agree to host SNL unless
don't want
he could have his lover Andy Samberg come with him. So and they work off each other so well. Like
Yeah.
you could even see a couple times when like one of them was off or something and they would like pick. I don't know. They just have such good chemistry on camera together, and I love them.
I don't know what it is.
Love
It's
them.
either Sandberg or Timberlake's voice or something, but compared to, I guess, even in the Elton John sketch, so maybe it's just Timberlake again, these people can land jokes in singing, and that is really hard to do, to like be very clear, have good diction and good comedic timing in song, especially like in rhythm, and they just are consistently so funny in these characters. It was interesting seeing them side by side to the Wild and Crazy. I was gonna say Kids, but that's not. That's an old
No.
show. Wild and Crazy Guys, because it's like, oh, it really SNL hasn't changed that much.
Right, and the bridge between those two was Roxbury. If
Yeah,
you remember,
right,
with Will
wow,
Ferrell and Chris
you're right.
Kattan. I remember when that came out, they got a lot of criticism for just copying Two Wild and Crazy Guys.
Right.
Because it was the same thing, just nonverbal.
American
They'd be at a
guys, yeah.
bar, Same whole setup, except they would do the grinding and it's slightly different. But
How awesome would it be if they had like the dating show and they had those three?
Right,
sets?
that would have been
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Awesome for Chris Kattan.
oh, we love you, Chris.
Oh.
But yeah, again, to speaking to your his ability with movement and hitting the jokes in songs, nothing's greater than Bring It On In Amnaville, which this week is Veganville.
Surprisingly, not a letdown at all. Like, I saw this and I was like, oh man, I mean, you guys have done this a lot, and then it was legitimately good. Like, I thought
it was more entertaining than funny.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say that I feel the same way about this sketch that I do. What's up with that? Is that the?
Yeah.
People either love or hate that, and I really like it. It's never particularly funny, and I didn't think this one was particularly funny either, but it's so fun, and it's just so entertaining to watch that it just keeps the mood of the show up, and it keeps everything really like exciting.
And it's like one of those songs you get stuck in your head now. It's become like a part of our culture of the bring it on down to this time of Veganville, whatever. But and then to end it with such a current thing like the Harlem Shake, I was like, that was
I love when
genius.
SNL will wink at something or acknowledge it, but not in didn't do a parody of it, because that's been done to death. They've a couple times in the past. Whenever your mom has made a parody video for something, SNL is usually wisely stays away from it and then just winks at it for a second.
Right.
That was a great way to do it. Also, it's just a funny costume. It's always just such a funny costume. This comes from I think this era of SNL where they actually did these costumes more often. Remember there was this old Amy Poehler sketch, the dollar bill, exactly, where the American dollar. This was when our economy was first starting to go down the tanks, and it was the dollar bill was the tales of the down and out dollar bill, and it's all cartoon, and everybody has these ridiculous costumes, and it's so funny. The Mexican peso is Horatio Sands with a huge mustache. And it's just one of those things. Visually, it's so funny to see that dance.
It's also like the Gumby. Oh my gosh, I'm blank. Oh my, Eddie Murphy did the Gumby costume. I mean, just whenever you put these people who you're you usually see in tuxes or looking so suave and stuff, and you put them in a foam suit that is oversized with hands and giant feet. It's gonna be funny.
To all our listeners out there that are oh, these people are saying that what is funny is foam suits and hats. That is what is funny. In case you're unsure.
I'm almost at a loss of words because you guys have said all the wonderful words about
all the words.
But all the words is just that execution level on it is so high. And that's what I think is amazing about it.
They should have cut the rap bit. That's the only thing. He rapped a song there that I wasn't. Was it a Lil Wayne song or something? I wasn't really familiar. Yeah, exactly. And they just should have cut that bit. But otherwise, it was well performed, well executed.
Has he done it with Bobby Moynihan before? Has he done that?
I don't
believe so.
Yeah.
I love Bobby Moynihan. I just thought he was
so
a really fun.
The one change they've kind of done is this has reincarnated several times now is in the original sketch, which was with Chris Parnell. Chris Parnell was also, like a carnival barker and would be doing his bring it into Benny's, and his kind of lame songs, and they were competing back and forth.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel I kind of feel like they lose a little bit of an element now that they've moved away from the other person doing anything. They just stand there.
The horn honking was funny.
Right. But I think that watching Bobby Moynihan trying to do a little song or compete, I think could hold its own comedy there, just like Chris Parnell did. So
watch a sketch with Bobby Moynihan in it and see if it's a sketch that needs good dancing. Check him out. He's a fantastic dancer. He did the Psy a couple months back.
I remember that,
Yeah, he's a great dancer, and you see him at the end in the Harlem Shake.
And that is my specific point, that let him dance a little bit instead of just standing there and honking a horn. But that's a small
Can
guy.
anybody step to Justin Timberlake, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keetin's hello, me.
No, I was thinking you're a really good dancer, so right?
Yeah, listen to this.
I've seen your webcam stuff. It's solid.
These dance moves, they hurt.
Why are we listening to your dance?
They're not watching.
Can I just give a little shout out to Bobby Moynihan? I thought he was definitely the VIP of everybody this episode. He had smaller roles in a lot of the sketches, but I thought he just was great in all of them. And it's a date. I thought he was so cute, and he was making me laugh. half.
I was gonna say,
and he was
yeah,
such
he
a
was
small
really good.
role, but every time he hit it, and he was great. But
I'm
we can
gonna
move on
lose
now. I
this.
just love Bobby Moynihan.
He's fantastic. He came to my college and they did an improv show. This is before he was the Bobby Moynihan, and even then it was just like with the UCB tour co, and everybody was just like the guy with the eagle-sized eyes or whatever. I don't remember.
Eagles? What school did you go to? The Native American College Institute of Technology or something?
Yeah, go spirit ghosts.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was just like because he has these big bulging eyes you can see from like the back of the auditorium, and he was a big guy too. But yeah, he's just so talented. That guy, I mean, is the most reliable player of like absurd. Taryn is the most reliable player maybe all around.
Of the men's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could agree with that.
not a lot of Taryn this episode too,
No, Taryn.
Oh, no.
I've been missing Taryn. He wasn't
Or
in
Jason.
last episode very much either.
or Jay.
Jason or Fred. I mean,
It's
lot of
just that's what happens
no-shows.
when you bring in J-Tim.
but you know
very
what? We
little.
had the all-girl bit, the Nuva Bling, birth control, which was wonderful.
So much.
It's so weird whenever they do birth control bitches, which they do fairly often. They have like some play on birth control or whatever. I always want to like nudge my girlfriend and be like, "Hey, you might like this sketch." I don't know
Is
why
she not on birth control? Is that what you're getting at?
even whether she is or not. It's just it's just
Whether she is or not, you should probably know.
I like not knowing. What the thing that's weird is like I feel like do we not have anything else to talk about? Like this is the only thing I'm like, don't you like birth control? Like you know the way you're like calling your mom like, oh, you that was wild and crazy. I'm like, hey, you used birth control. This sketch is for you. I always feel so weird.
Right. Well, I can understand that because it just seems like your problem. Keetin, were you moved by the birth control element of the bit?
I was, I don't know, it just made me, I thought it was a great sketch, but I think any sketch that makes you physically like feel something and uncomfortable by just like the acting and
It's
like the way
empathy,
they're getting,
yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like it's a good sketch. They great characters and it was very short, which I like. I like when they have shorter sketches because I think they're better at delivering what they have. With
Yeah.
the short sketches.
Yeah.
And I like, the girls are great, and I hope these girls continue to get better and more recognition because, we need some more Amy Poehlers and Tina Feys in the world. So hopefully, I think they're going to be up there in a couple years.
It did kind of remind me of like the Mom Jean thing of like being just really funny and like just hit spot on, what it was.
Are these funnier to women? The sketch honestly wasn't that funny to me. I agree that like I was like the empathy,
maybe.
Maybe it is funny.
Maybe it is, yeah. It was really funny. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So maybe it is funnier to women then too. Because to me, it was like, oh, this is funny in general, and I'm mostly thinking about that probably hurts, but I don't really connect to it on another level. Not to say I don't have a Nuva ring inside of me right now. It's just
Nuva Bling.
Different.
Nuva
different
Bling, yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to know how that happens.
In your butt.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Simple science, gang. You heard it here first on AfterBuzz. Yeah, wonderful bit though, and their pre-save stuff is usually, if not always, the strongest. So that was cool. And then I think everybody's excited that Weekend Update came, and who showed up?
Who?
Oh no.
Stefan.
Another solid. I like, man. So John Mulaney, who really writes the Stefan pieces, is on his way out. He has a pilot deal on like CBS, I think it is, and so he might not be around much longer, and that would sadly mean the death of Stefan probably for at least a little while. But again, I mean, they're just so solid. And what really I love about them, a lot of the jokes are written as between dress and the live show, which is why Bill is having so much trouble keeping it together because he's just heard this for the first time. Very
It's
solid.
really good though at like performing for stuff that he,
Barely knows.
Yeah.
And his Donald Duck impersonation was the best Donald Duck I have ever seen. It was better than
And it
the
was
real
so
Donald Duck.
subtle.
Emmy
like,
worthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they could have like hammed it on, but it was just a really subtle.
So good.
Yeah. Or just, what is it? God, your mother and I are getting separated. Whatever. Like, just these, like, now
Yeah.
it's starting to become like the Bill Hader comedy 10 minutes or whatever, where it's just like, here's some different things Bill Hader's able to do. He also had that, the jazz legend that's murdered or whatever, like, my wallet.
Yeah.
Hell no. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that was
like,
great.
God.
Such a wonderful bit. I love that one so much. And it's
Yeah.
great. I didn't know if it was ever going to come back this season. I felt like, and maybe this is the last time. Fingers crossed. Who knows?
We'll see. For the technical viewers or whatever, go back and watch this one and compare it. This one followed a rule of three, really set formula on any time he gave a list. Usually, each one of those is a joke, and then the third one is like the funniest joke, whatever. But this one was multiple times. It was just charts, graphs, PowerPoint presentations, like a lot of chutes, ladders, whatever. It was a lot of like really simple things, and the third one was funny. So just technically, it seems like they're mixing it up a little bit. Maybe honestly, because it's hard to come up with 50 short jokes like that every single time they do this.
It also kind of felt with the list that they were ramping up too, because it was like the charts, I think, was maybe the first one, and then it was the next list was a little funnier, and then I think the last one was the what was it, outdoor concert at the
from the commercials or whatever. Yeah.
The outdoor concert.
So
well, this
strong
is,
weekend update though too.
Right. So I mean, up to this point, the show was solid. It was really cooking, had this great momentum, and then
And Jay-Z came out in Justin's first performance.
course.
Jay-Z
So, yeah,
came out. For those of you that didn't know, Beyonce's in tears.
She is.
Blue Baby Ivy.
That was a surrogate. No.
it was a surrogate, right? Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that first performance was amazing too. And
Suit and Tie, which
Suit and Tie.
is a fun song. Everybody's digging it.
I don't love it. I think it sounds like his old song. I actually do
growing on
love it, but I love it in the way that I loved all his stuff. I was hoping to be like blown away and taken to like a new level of music and ecstasy, and I just wasn't.
Okay, wow.
This is what
growing
bothers
on
me about this new JT is that it feels like almost like a ripoff of Bruno Mars, like the whole big band, like crooner thing. Like Bruno Mars did that a year ago.
Okay,
Like, and now
I agree with that.
JT's doing it.
Yeah, but
and
now
I'm just like-
JT's doing it.
So it's okay now. Now it's cooler. But I love JT, and I think it was a great performance. And I wanted Beyonce to like be cut to Beyonce in the audience or something. I don't know.
Just for no reason.
Just for no reason.
Kanye just with his arms crossed, just mad at the world.
So did you guys catch that? So who's caught up on the JTM Kanye beef? No one?
I am.
All right, Matt, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there is I can't remember where the concert was taking place, but Kanye West was at a concert and he ranted on several things. Taylor Swift again. I don't know why he's still upset about this whole thing. Nobody else cares. But he ranted on that, and then he also took some shots at Beyonce and other people who are attached to corporate sponsors, who would also be Justin Timberlake, since he's attached with Bud Light now and doing those commercials. And so
he specifically, I guess, at some point, I don't know the exact details, but something about Suit and Tie, specifically that song, he like disparaged it in some way.
Because of Jay-Z. He was disparaging Jay-Z, not the song of Jay-Z. You know, he's like, it's my boy, but, you know, doing stuff like that. Because it was like too commercial. I was like, dude, don't you work at a fashion store or something part-time? I'm like, what is this deal? I was like, pull up your red pants.
Or you're killed. Sometimes
and get your. And then it was like he's so unmaterialistic all of a sudden, and his wife is made of Louis Vuitton bags.
Yeah.
So, or I guess they're not married yet, but whatever.
His baby's mama.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian.
Correction.
So it's just like, what is this guy's deal? I used to really like him, and he just does
and around
everything.
his first album,
he's so
was
easy to not
brilliant.
like.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, you know, his mom died suddenly, and I think he's still struggling with that.
Right,
So
no, but I thought that would change him. He was a real jerk before that.
Well, he
and
became worse, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it would make him better. It's funny that those life situations, you can fork in the road there.
Yeah,
and I thought
definitely.
that he would be like humbled and.
Well, I mean,
some other
whose
things about
mom, when you're just becoming famous, isn't like going to look to their mom as a moral compass, you know, and like
Sure.
her not being around, maybe that had something to do with it. But anyway,
Sure.
Justin Timberlake adjusted the lyrics of Suit and Tie. So if
Yeah.
you listen to them, there's a part there where he says,
It's so subtle,
"My
though.
song is such a hit. It got rappers acting dramatic," and then he kind of like looks right into the camera, and then he does this neck move, and you know it's like what,
Yeah, he goes, what?
but he doesn't say what. His neck says what.
Yeah, it was a little bit of Michael Jackson-ish.
Esh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ish, ash,
Yeah.
ash. I'm street. I can say it either way. It doesn't matter.
I miss Michael Jackson.
Sorry, and then the show started going downhill.
That's unfortunately that's when. So yeah, he took a shot at Kanye, and then we had Caligula. Yeah.
All I have
Are
in
you
my
moaning
notes
out of
is
ecstasy
didn't like
from
it.
Your confusion.
Okay.
Yeah, her notes say didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Dot dot dot.
In your perfect penmanship, it says didn't like it. Maybe that's
I have boy handwriting.
maybe that's
Bad.
So what's wrong with this sketch? Because Caligula, we are all very familiar with.
Sure.
This idea
Have a lot of drawings.
But essentially, though, we all are familiar with the idea of the old Roman orgies, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of something that doesn't come up very often, but is ripe for humor. I actually, honestly, as soon as I saw Caligula, whatever, I was like, oh, this honestly, even though sophomoric humor is sophomoric by definition, it is still funny, right? So I was like, oh, it'll probably be funny. And then it just wasn't. In the way, you know what the sketch suffered from, probably? Exactly the comment they were making. When you take all the debauchery out of, like, your friend that is an addict, they're not fun, and they're not funny. So, kids, keep at it.
keep that Nuva bling in, ladies.
Yeah.
That's because Filup is coming.
Actually, no, take it out.
That wasn't a double entendre. You guys, come on.
Come on.
It's okay. He has his own Nuva blank, so
Yeah.
you don't need one.
I think it was extremely stagnant. Nobody moved the whole time, and it was stagnant in its blocking, and it was stagnant in its performance because
Bobby
it was
Moynihan
just.
moved.
Oh yeah, I guess he came up once, right?
Taron Killam moved.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere in the background, Jay was seizing. But yeah.
But there was no tension in any way. It was just we came out and it's like this has already happened, so we're not going to have sex anymore, and then there was no place for it to go.
They could have
or otherwise.
upped the opportunities. So, for instance, the end joke, which isn't even really a joke about the pig, whatever, where it's like, oh, the pig is what breaks him for him. Like, he could have constantly been like lured back in a little bit or whatever, and like tempted. It's like, are you sure? I'm not wearing any, Roman straps. I don't know what Roman people wore as underwear.
I don't think they wore underwear.
Probably straps.
Straps or
No underwear. I doubt they wore underwear.
Then how does that work? But essentially, yeah, there could have been just more going on. I think
It didn't hang on anything. I think the dating sketch. I don't usually like those game show ones, but I think that it worked because it hung itself on the callbacks to the Two Wild and Crazy Guys and the Dick in the Box guys, and that made it fun. And then the side stuff was fun. And this was kind of like another one of those sketches where. It's people gathered around to talk, and they didn't up the silliness of the jokes, and they didn't have another thing or a nod or a bit or like there wasn't anything to like. The most exciting thing that happened in that entire sketch was Taron Killam coming in with the horse head, and I was like, be Taron Killam, and then it was, and then that was it, and then that was the end of it, and I was like, oh.
What you're describing almost sounds a little bit like in the idea of an improv, like what's not that important necessarily, but the what of what they're doing was nothing, right? They're just sitting there. We know who they are, we know where they are, but just nothing is going on. It's just conversation. Yeah. And, not that that's a bad thing. Sometimes conversation around a table while people discuss simple topics is great.
It is great. And I as much as you wanted the horse head to be Taron Killam, I wanted it to be another like a new celebrity to take off. If it would have taken it off, and it would have been like another like
that would have been
I thought that would have been
like
fun.
Cameron Diaz confronting Justin Timberlake over their breakup,
and then
right?
they cut to Beyonce in the audience.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz is a horse? No, Beyonce. Just look pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
She's fierce.
Yeah, and then we had a repeat bit, which I'd never thought they'd repeat ever in the history of repeating, is Maine Justice. Which again, there's no explanation for why Maine is talking like they're in the bayou in Nolans, but
And Colonel Sanders was the judge.
Yeah.
sure, it's got. So the whole thing, I think at some point I thought they were going to explain it again.
The
but
first
it's like,
time they
with
were
Jamie
smart
Foxx.
to say, like, who knows why this is this way? Maybe a whole community from Louisiana relocated themselves to Maine, or maybe they had this like list of why they could be that way. They didn't do that this time, and I remember that time saying it's important that they did that because some people it doesn't click until that it's called out for them, and it's important to explain why this is happening.
They waited a long time to point out that was the joke too. Like it goes on, and I'm like, oh, did they do this on purpose? Like, because I hadn't seen the previous time.
Yeah.
But it was like, did they do this on purpose? Then it was. I couldn't figure out if it was supposed to be that they were pretending to be in Maine and they were in New Orleans,
Right.
or
It's
if they
very
were
confusing.
New Orleans people in Maine, or what the joke was.
I had like a thought I should never have watching SNL. I was like, is there a funnier state would a different state have made it work? Like if it was clearly not New Jersey or something, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I get it. But like, I think in general, I don't know. I think I'm speaking for everyone in the world right now when I say like, what's Maine like? So in my head, I'm a little bit like, maybe Maine also has a bayou? Like, I legitimately don't know Maine well enough to know this is not Maine.
I also had a thought, like, maybe this is referencing a reality show that I don't know or something. Like, maybe it's like
Everything.
a spin
There
on...
has to be a reason that this
Right?
weird
Okay, I was
sketch
like,
is going
Why
on.
did you do this? You sound like you were like really confused and like
really
angry.
wanted answers.
Like peed a little.
Well, maybe that sums it up. More questions than answers, and that's why it just doesn't work. And if you're gonna have this weird connection, like, hey, we're doing New Orleans, but we're in Maine, then let's make fun of that. Let's just not ignore it. Let's just not just do things just to do them. Like, we're trying to be funny, so point at something and have a commentary and do something here.
There's no
And
comedic point of view on this.
No, and then they obviously had Andy Samberg, come in.
Play
and
straight man.
Yeah,
why did he come in here and he didn't do anything? Like, why have somebody come in from off the street and do nothing?
I actually did sit there while watching this, and I had enough time to think to myself, like, Tim Robinson is watching this sketch and just like, really? I couldn't just go in here and just be the straight man? Like,
Yeah.
and
Well, maybe he was clipping Lawrence Michaels' nails or something. I don't know.
It was weird. And then the three amigos showed up.
Right, to
it.
introduce
That
his
was
song,
great.
his
I
next
mean-
song, which was awesome.
Yes, I loved how they kind of joked about it in the
opener,
opening
sure.
monologue,
Right.
but then like for them to actually suit up and do it.
So Chevy Chase is famously like difficult to
everything.
work with, hates everything. Really quick in the Five Timers bit when he was doing his thing with the phone, where like he couldn't hang the phone up. I'm gonna guess that was not written
Yeah, I don't
for
think so
him.
either.
He famously makes up his own material, changes jokes, just really tries
Hands
to
it up.
get like his own laughs. I think that's what he was doing there. Because I also saw him in the Three Amigos thing, and I felt like I was reading an energy like he wishes he could do something different to get a laugh here, but he can't because it'll ruin the whole bit. So you just see him dreading like, oh, why am I doing this? I should
Right.
go do another vacation movie, which they're doing now without him. Ed Helms recently announced in the
Wow.
remake of the vacation movies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
so that's what happens when
All right.
everyone hates working with you.
Oh, but
Yeah.
and it was so sad because Steve Martin and oh my God, I'm blanking.
Martin Short.
Martin Short. They both thrusted, and Chevy Chase did not thrust.
did not.
He did not.
Maybe he
No
did
thrust.
internally, and it just didn't get through the rest of him.
Could be. Or maybe he doesn't have a dick like she's got a dick. Right? Right?
Yes.
Shelley?
Sure. The
I really didn't want to do this
The-
here.
the probably poorest, I'd have to say, pre-recorded bit I've seen in a long time. It just didn't really work on any. Not a lot there.
Well, so here's the thing: is the joke you can make a romantic comedy about anything as long as you have these ingredients? The cute brunette, the like confused black brother, or whatever. Like, is that the joke, or is it just like, which I think it is, or is it the dick thing, which honestly is almost more distracting to have the exclamation point, whatever. Like,
I was waiting for the closing shot for her to have like the protrusion from her pants or something.
Which I
and
was
then you're like, oh,
surprised
you're gonna
wasn't
see it or
there.
some from her skirt or something.
Yeah,
so
you
you'd
wanna see it.
I wanted to see it.
I did not want to see it.
It could have been beautiful.
It could have been very beautiful.
Probably beautiful.
I mean, have we all seen The Crying Game?
No, I
I
have
just ruined it
not.
for everyone.
I just meant The Crying Game I play with myself.
Oh, is that right? Not the 20-year-old
Because
movie.
it's about to happen. Yeah, no, it's. I think the idea is, if it is that first thing I was thinking, which I think is what they were going for, that romantic comedies are so formulaic. It's just one person has one problem, and otherwise you plug and play with these various items. I think that's a good idea.
Or it's just as long as Justin Timberlake is in your romantic comedy, you're good. It
Yeah.
can be about anything because he was the only name they used, starring Justin
Well,
Timberlake.
the actual Justin Timberlake
Yeah.
would make this movie.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but just not a lot there.
No.
It just wasn't enough. It's one of those things where I'm like, how did this kind of get past those hurdles
I
to the
kinda
point they
liked it.
produced it? Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. I
yeah.
kind of, but I thought it was. I thought it was.
I know a club you should go to.
I kind of like that.
For those reasons, I liked it. No, I kind of liked it, but I thought it was, nothing special. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, but I feel like they've done other movie parodies that were kind of similar. So
Yeah, I mean, they go to this pretty
Yeah,
often where it's
yeah.
like, let's make fun of romantic comedies because
And
they're
that's-
asking for it.
yeah.
Yeah. And people with dicks.
The one that
That's what they're making fun of.
Right? I'm
Lord.
offended. I think they were making fun of me.
Should we just move on before we go off the rails on this one?
so.
We need to just
Right.
No.
let him keep going.
champagne and porn stars, anybody?
Why don't you do some energy air grabs there and just take a couple deep breaths, find your center again, we'll move on. So we had the Moet and Chandon, Champagne.
Monica and Chandler.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah,
I like that they even
exactly.
repeated it because, like, in good writing, you don't repeat the same joke.
Sure.
But in these retarded, like,
But in
drunk
10-year-old
people,
sitcom jokes, you go,
Yeah.
let's throw that one out again so people are on the Monica and Chandler
do it
jokes.
twice.
Yeah.
I like that though. This sketch wasn't as good as the first go around. Justin was better than Jamie. Was it Jamie Foxx that did it the first time?
Yeah, it was Jamie
Yeah,
Foxx
so
episode as well.
two repeats from that.
Yeah.
VIP-ness. Speaking of that.
Yeah. VIP-ness.
I still like the first one better. I think it was more creative. Cecily Strong had some line like, I lost half of my foot because it broke off in a butt or something. It was just like these specifics were just so hilarious. This one was still good. They were still fun. It's so much in the performances. Again, watch Vanessa Bayer if you want to see someone like drugged up on opiates. Like very accurately, like that. They're just so clearly drugged through that whole sketch. I thought it was
Yeah.
very fun performance-wise.
Yeah, their characters are so strong in that, and they just, I just those girls, they're so funny. I thought this was a really good sketch, and it like kind of brought me back into it a little bit. But then Justin Timberlake kind of flew across the screen too many times, and I was like, that's kind of what brought me out. Like I love the girls, but when Justin Timberlake came in, and I was like, we don't need him. His VIP. What?
VIP-ness.
VIP-ness? Like Ricky VIP-ness? Is not that funny.
If you want to practice, you can make eye contact with me and say it 3 times.
VIP-ness?
Thank you.
VIP-ness? VIP-ness?
All right.
Oh no!
was
Now he
amazing.
appeared. No, so the
Michael Keaton. Go figure. We're doing a Michael Keaton joke with Keaton here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So the thing they did a little too much was the mispronouncing. This is the only thing. It was really funny in the first one because like if you've ever heard anyone mispronounce crystals, it usually is crystals. Like they just leave out the T, but every word was like extremely mispronounced this time.
It's not
It was still
successful.
funny. Not successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun. It was a nice way to close it, an overall strong show.
Yeah.
So
That's it. That's the end.
that was the
That
end.
was- This is the end.
Well, you know who it's the end for in life.
Look at you getting segues going. Bring it on me, Philip.
Victims of murder.
Is that right?
Yeah. Is anyone out here a victim of murder?
Yeah.
Really?
I was just agreeing.
Oh.
I'm yes anding.
Good
It's
support,
improv.
good improv. So if you guys haven't heard yet, Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos have a new movie coming out
saw it
called
last
Serial
night.
Buddies.
Did you? What'd you think?
I did. I thought it was very good. I was laughing a lot, and yeah, go see it. I saw it with a big group of AfterBuzzers. So,
Nice.
Ooh.
and there's
So-
a couple cameos from some AfterBuzzers. So check it out.
Is that
nice.
right?
Yeah, there's lots of cameos in the film too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, if you're interested, I heard it's described as Dexter meets comedy. So
Dexter meets Dumb and Dumber.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
There we have the line read. Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks super cool, so I'm excited to see it. So, where can we find our predictions?
Ooh. In the future.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Predictions for we're taking a break, gang.
Yeah. So we're coming back in April.
April 6th
April
with
6th.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
Already
Phoenix.
back.
Yes. And Phoenix, who I have no idea who they are.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. But Melissa McCarthy. Yes.
Yeah, your Groundlings co.
Oh, my Groundings alum. Yeah.
yeah.
So love her. I predict this will be the best episode of the year, bar none.
Ooh.
And I just Nick Cannon my pen, and I'm out.
None of us know what it is to verb.
Have you ever seen Drumline and he drops the thing and he
You think he invented dropping things?
Drop the mic. That's what it is.
Parkinson's did. So the best thing about those Melissa McCarthy episodes the first time was some of her original characters that she brought in. I think we're going to see a return of the ranch dressing office lady.
Oh, please.
I think we're going to see a couple of other original Melissa McCarthy characters come back for a second time.
That'd be
I think
wonderful.
we might get a Sandra Bullock cameo.
Oh, because of the
love
movie that's
that.
coming out.
I would love a Sandra Bullock cameo. I mean, she does things a lot, so.
Okay.
For her friends. For her friends.
Are you going to predict it? Are you going to put it out there or what?
Well, are you
Yeah,
guys,
you're gonna
are
take
you guys
my
gonna
other
like dare
prediction?
me? Like, will I have to do something if I'm wrong? I don't want to take your prediction.
No, just hang your
can have that
proverbial
one.
balls out there.
You
This
can
is
have
just
that one.
pride.
No.
I don't think she wants to do that.
Sure, Sandra Bullock. Somebody's gonna show up because you can't have a show like like Justin Timberlake just had and not bring one of your famous friends on, and have it be successful.
Okay.
That's.
And if you're wrong, then you have to become bulimic or something.
Are you calling me fat?
No, see? See
Why are you
what you
looking
did,
at me?
Phil?
Are you calling me
See
fat?
what you did? See what you did?
I'm not sure how, but I'm sorry.
You're a hard man.
Which one of us?
VIPness makes mistakes too, gang.
Is that your
Shelley,
She's got a dick.
save us from my mistakes.
Bulimia is really serious, and if you're experiencing it, go get help.
We at
Nice.
AfterBuzz do not.
Nice.
I was gonna say I predict it'll be a great episode, but that is boring. So I'm gonna make some bold ones.
Yeah.
Jay Farrow's best episode.
Oh,
Whoa,
right.
like he's gonna MVP it out?
I don't know
MVP.
why. And
MVP.
Philip is gonna lose his Nuva ring,
Oh no.
but he's not gonna know where.
Where do you lose it? In a dumpster or what? How do you lose a Nuva ring?
In a butt?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Can I have a new prediction? I think the Nuva Ring commercial actually might come back. I think
Nuva
Melissa
Bling.
McCarthy's gonna jump on that bandwagon because I think it was a
Sequel their own
successful one.
commercial?
Yeah, I think they might sequel that commercial.
All right.
Cool.
I'm writing that down.
Oh God.
You're in trouble.
I hate throwing up and I love food. Stop it.
Okay.
Nuva Bling's all
You're all
around.
right. You're all right. It's all fun and games here at AfterBuzz. But where can we find you until our next time, Shelley Long?
On Twitter?
On Twitter?
Yeah. At Shelley Conto.
At Shelley Conto. Philip?
You can hit me up on Twitter at Fimo, F-I-M-O.
You can hit me up on Twitter at KeetinM33.
Lovely. You
And Matt?
Where can we find you?
On my website or at Bulimia Anonymous's, any places around.
In a butt.
In the butt. Yeah, so check me out on www.matthewkyle.com. Always got something cool going on. And until April 6th, we will catch y'all next time. Love you.
Bye. Miss
Hold on to
you.
your pens.
Miss you, love you, mean it.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Best movie.
Buzz you later.
Drop the mic.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.